Hello world, we're back for part 2 of trying to make this intro visual synthesizer thing, where if you didn't see part 1, I basically trying to recreate this effect where when I click it triggers an animation, but I want it to work kind of like a synthesizer. So if I hit different buttons, maybe on my keyboard, like B and C, A, that different effects happen, right? So in this video, I want to port the code of this from this block that I wrote into Observable, and then wire up different effects to different buttons. And I mean, some things I want to try is, growing the squares or shrinking them, maybe depending on what kind they are, or filling in these blank ones, or changing the color. So yeah, there's many things that we could play with, and then by hitting the keyboard, playing it like a keyboard to a song, we can make an interesting visual, I think. So let us begin. One of the things that I wish I had done in the first video that would have helped this a little bit is just give some kind of visual indication when one of these is pressed. And because these are the actual input, like these change a value, like A, B, and C here, we can't use those inside here because it would be a circular definition. So I'm going to kind of cheat and just make this little function. Let's see. Oh, because this is a key event, I have to find the element that I do here. Sorry. So what I mean is, if I click, I have access to the particular rectangle that I clicked on. If I use one of the letter keys, like A, B, or C, I'll have to select the appropriate rectangle. But that's actually, we can kind of hack that in a way that's not a big deal. So what we'll do is say highlight. We'll get a node. I'll do D3 to select node. Dot transition. And we're going to change the fill style to, I don't know, let's do red RGB. And we'll give the duration half a second and see how that feels. So I can do, when I click here, is I can say basically highlight this. And I'll also want to set an initial style to be, let's say, off black. Oops, this should be, so it's red. Oh yeah, I want to change it to black, or to red, but I want to transition it back to what it was. Yeah, that kind of works, right? I guess the transitions aren't interrupting each other, but whatever. I just wanted a quick thing, feedback. So this will be this. We'll do this. Let rect equals T3 select all rect. Sorry, SVGs. And we'll do rect 0 dot, dot node. And hopefully this works. All right, so if I do A, B, C, that did not work. Okay. Cannot read property node of undefined. All right. Oh, so it doesn't like that. I don't remember what we get. Oops. When we do this, so let's find out. So it's a node list. I wonder if we can do nodes. Yeah. So I guess what we'll do is then we don't have to do this whole .node thing. I don't need this anymore. Yeah. So that works. Now, let's start pulling over some code from here. So the way this works is that there's some text, and we write Angelot. There's dimensions for the canvas that we'll just use observables conventions. The font size you want the text at. The radius are the points that are used to determine where these squares go, as well as the spacing, because there's a grid that gets laid down, and then there's a force parameter here. We actually don't use the color in this case, it's a black and white. There's a function rasterize text that will be a key thing. It's what generates XY coordinates. And then we're going to map over that, and we're going to set the, so yeah, we get this XY in the form of a, an array with 2 items. And that's what the target is. And then in this example, when it starts out, you randomize the X values. I think I may, have it start out in the right place. And in this case, there's also possibility of transitioning the radius of, what is this? Radius for, I'm not sure. Max R. Oh, I remember what this was. There was a thing where it would fisheye the grid cells. So we don't need any of that radius stuff for what we're doing. On this, R target less than max R. Is that how some of these are being filled and some not? Yeah. Oh, I see. Maybe there is a size, some of the, yeah, okay. The radius is actually the sort of width and height of the cube. All right, so we can keep that. Then there's a simulation, force simulation. And here's that rasterized text function, which comes from this block by Tucker. And so we'll pull in as well as this function. So I'm going to start by pulling these in to the bottom here. And then this one, I'm going to put it here. All right, so those. Then we're gonna get some of these options here. I think these we can, I'll keep all the options down here. Oops. Don't need the var. And then, okay, so we have these parameters. Probably start the font off a tiny bit smaller. And this thing has got width and height, but let's pull the height out to be a parameter here as well. And we'll probably put the text up here so that someone can change it easily. Collision strength, I suppose we'll want that. All right. And we'll make an options object, that's fine. So this is kind of the key, I think. Let's put this up, well, yeah, put it below the parameters. Okay. So this gives us a random number, all right. I'm not sure I want to keep that way. So this is going to have, wait a minute, it's going to have width, height, spacing, and font size. Width, height, spacing, font size. All right, so this gives us this array of these points. Then over here, we use SVG, but I think what I want to do is, all right, well, I'm going to have to get max R, I suppose. Oops. That's good. And we're going to render, we're basically going to render these, so I need to copy this. So in here, I'm going to use this easing stuff eventually. So we're going to do something like pixels dot for each and we're going to say make y. All right, so we want to set, we're going to set the fill style. Let's do this. We're also going to see if it correct. Zero width, height. Oh yeah, this isn't a function. Let's set equal to that. Then I'll make the circle white. So now we get a cool. But we're not going to render the circle for much longer. So it's either going to be a stroke rect or a let's do stroke style for now. Oops, we want X, Y, and then width and height is d.r display. And then, well, let's see what happens here. 4 arguments required. Oh yeah, because the width and the height need to be passed in. All right, so we have our random points here. Now, if we didn't make x or y random, but rather made them d0 and d1, I'm not sure why it's minus 40. Let's just get rid of that. Then we have our text. I'm now going to get rid of the circle. I'll just comment it out for now. And I'm going to make the font just a tiny bit, well, a good bit smaller actually. It's a little less satisfying. Not as many squares. One thing we can do, I think, is change the spacing. Let's see. This is 10. Yeah, that's kind of cool. It collapses them, but let's give it a little more space. All right, that's pretty cool. So we want to do effects on this now, right? Because right now, well, let's also, I kind of liked the idea of the fill. There's also the stroke width that we could play with. So we can say if that, then fill rect. And we can also say the fill style is white. All right, so that makes for a more tile-y looking thing. I think I want the spacing to be higher again. Yeah, it's a little nicer. Okay. I mean, one thing I think would be cool is that if you hit one of these buttons, all of the dark ones would light up and then fade back out. Let's shoot for that. So what we basically want is some kind of color scale. And we basically want T3 scale, what is it? Chromatic. Use this one fairly often. Something like this, interpolate gray or scheme grays. I always forget off the top of my head. Scale chromatic, how to apply these. Here we go. Ramp grays. Okay, so it would be grays. Oh, this seems like a bunch of math. Why can't I do interpolate RGB? do scale linear. This is what I want. And I want to interpolate grays, I think. So, all right. Let's see if I understand. Interpolate scale linear. Range will be black to white. Maybe two colors. Interpolate, deviate, interpolate, grays. All right, and then if so, this fills it if it's meets some threshold. Otherwise, we're going to fill it with our color scale of, let's say, C. Or let's do A. First thing we do is A. And then we will, so we'll fill them, but sometimes it's with the color scale. He is not a function, okay. Oh, I think that means I have to get the scale chromatic. To import it. Where does he import it? I think it's a separate model you have to import. It's the only place it's mentioned. Scale chromatic. Let's fix like this. Oh yeah, you can do this. So let's try that. Did not give me a function. I think so. I mean, this must be the problem. Right? Interpolate grays. What did I do wrong here? Scaling. Do you have to give the gamma? I don't know. So let's try interpolate RGB. All right. It's just an ugly interpolation. So what I probably want is put this after. Oh, you know what I might have done is misspelled grays wrong. It's like with the A instead of a E. Grays. No, it didn't like that. Interpolate gray. It is with a Y. So there's the function that gives us a color. function. It says it's a function, so what's going on here? Maybe I don't need a range. Let's try logging it out. Well, I guess the observable way is to just do it down here or something. So it does not like that. Do I have to do .gim? No, perfectly great. It should just work. What other scales are there? It does not like this. I guess though, since it's already a number between 1 and 5, or sorry, 0 and 1, I could just call it directly. I don't need a scale, so that's kind of silly. So we'll just call color of A. All right, that's the reverse of what I want. I'm probably also going to want to ease it, so I guess I could do 1 minus A and ease 1. Let's see what happens. Let's try ease 2. I don't like that, but ease 1, what was ease 1? Back out. Maybe I'll do ease 3. See how that works. I think that's a little better. It lasts a little longer. Alright, so now we should change the sizes of everything, maybe. So, B we could say, let R equal, and we'll do, let's change this R scale so it's a multiplier between 1 and 3, so R scale B, we do R display times, and these will be R. Every time we have a D to R display, we'll just replace it with R. I like my single name variables from my scientific computing days. Alright. Let's see what happens. Whoa. That's kind of cool. ease is not right. We need to ease that. Let's try ease 2. That is pretty cool. I wonder if we change the opacity as it goes as well. Oh, but then I have to do annoying. Well, let's do it. Let's mess with the opacity. So we're gonna say the opacity. We just want to fade it out a bit. I'm gonna get rid. Well, I'm gonna comment this because we're not actually using that. So opacity will be, like, say, ease 2 of C, 0 to 1. But what we want it to do is be like 1 minus that, and we only want to ever get to like 50%. Let's say 0.5 opacity. So the lowest opacity is 0.5. And the way I know how to do this is by using d3.rgb and saying give me a white, and then doing not very elegant RGBA, and we'd say white.r, white.g, oops, white.e, opacity. So interpolate the string with these values. The stroke style. Oops, I meant to do this for CTX stroke style. So let's say that will stay the same, but the fill style will be, and then this one will be let C equal this color, and let's do C here. All right, so what happens when we hit C? Not super in love with the look. Also, why did everything go to 0? I mean, everything's always white. So this should be d3.rgb. Okay. So C. Kind of feel like there always should be some less opacity, maybe. So if I do 0.8, and kind of want to make the sides get even bigger, huh? Another thing I was thinking is I should probably make them not just ABC, but like ASDF or something, so they're all in one row, easier to type. And then I can add a fourth value, and my switch statement here will be ASD F, and then these I'll say are S. Well, I kind of like having them be sort of easy to number. So even though they're different keys, I don't know, is that confusing? The variable names can at least be in order, because otherwise I feel, wow. So let's try this. So I don't know, maybe the decay is a little much. So A is still A. No, okay, this is going to be too confusing. So I'm going to do S. This one will be F. This one will be D. And so I want A. And the opacity should get controlled by, let's say, S. A will still fill everything. And then the size should be based on D, or one of the sizes. One of the sizes, I guess we can do a positional thing with, oh, we still want to do the force layout, probably, with F. So D will be the size. And I'm just going to increase this. Okay. Where did my letters go? Oh, I wonder if, could I use function D? Okay, I'll say P. That mess things up for sure. Is that good enough? Okay. So P here. Okay, so A, S, D, F. I do like that. That's weird. F is not lighting up. Oh, that's good. I need to do that. All right. I don't know. It doesn't seem bright enough this way. I'll say that should always be this, but I guess if D is happening, I also, so this we can do, we can dim it by a little bit. But if D is happening, let's dim it by another bit. Yeah, so this, I don't think it's even good to control it. I mean, I don't want to dim it really. I just wanted it to have lower opacity when they're overlapping so you get some kind of effect. So let's change S here to, well, we could change it to a different color. Actually, I'm gonna make that 0.2, or yeah, something like that. S. No, it doesn't need E's. So I want S to maybe like scramble them up and down by some amount. So let's say the Y. I'm gonna add sum is one of s. Let's see what happens here. Oh yeah, that's going to be a tiny amount. So that's going to be times, let's say 20 pixels. So that would just jump everything down. I think based on both the x and the y position of the thing, I want it to maybe move in a sine wave. Or maybe just based on the x position for now. So if we take so we wanted to move this by math.sine something about x, or yeah, let's say x. But that's going to be a number between like 0 and 1,000. So in radian, well, let's just see what happens. Oh man, that's kind of cool. But we want to be able to change the frequency of that sine wave more subtly. So if that's x over width, that'll give you a number between 0 and 1, almost. And then we times that by the frequency of the sine wave we want. So if it's math.pi, 2 pi, that would give you like 1 sine wave, like up and down, right? So, yeah. Which is already kind of cool. Oops. All right, so let's increase the frequency. Let's double it. See how we have more of a wave. And then if we say 10 times that, then we get back to this kind of, it's kind of cool. And then we could increase the amplitude of it, which was 20 pixels here. So if we do this, it moves everything more. And, you know, one thing, again, this is where the MIDI controllers would be cool, is that this should be amplitude and this should be frequency. And let's play with those. So I'll just put them here. And then frequency is, let's say 5. And then we should probably have an input for those, but I kind of like this right now. Oh yeah, still don't have an F. Well, yeah, let's get it going. So, simulation. So we need a force. I'm just going to copy this stuff. And I don't need a ticked. My nodes are pixels, so I think I'm going to have to say mutable pixels here. That still works. So my force layout, let's put it here. And we'll say simulation equals and we don't have nodes, we have pixels. And alright, so this is going to change the x and y of our pixels when we run it. I think we can say something like tick and then force.tick. to do this. Sorry, simulation. And I think it's fine because we're trying to take it, so it's going to recalculate this. And then I don't know. I don't think we want this. But I guess part of the issue is that if we go to our pixels and we said that this is plus math.random times 100, and let's say this is back here, so maybe middle. So calling tick directly should work. I'm not sure we can do it this way. Because I don't think it will update the pixels. But they did get, so let's see. Yeah, these start out x target, y, pretty close together. Unless this simulation is still running, because what's going to happen is it's going to make the target so yeah, so 100 is pretty different from 88, 365 there. So if we do tick here, then all these became, yeah, these became these. So it is updating, but we're not seeing it happen here. So I wonder if we do tick, if that's going to be a problem. And then we say we want to rerun our pixels. I'm going to hit Shift Enter. Yeah, okay. So it's working now because we're constantly refreshing this. So, you know, I guess it works. And what we want to do, I don't think we need that, is change. Yeah, so we need to change the pixels X, Y when you hit F. So one way to do that is I guess we kind of only want to change, we only want to change it once. So we'll say if F is greater than 0.99, which it should be for a very short amount of time, or say we'll do pixels dot for each function p dot x plus equals math.random times, let's say we can go up or left or right 50 pixels, so 100 minus 50. And we can go up or down 100 pixels. So now if we hit F, okay. Oh, we also then need to say simulation.alpha 0.5, so that gives it sort of a reboot. So everything's jumping down. Too far, I don't want it to jump down that much. Oh, it's gonna be shit like that. It should be like that. That's kind of cool. I think it would be fun to have cosine, so I could do sine and then cosine. So I think I'm gonna do that real quick. So I'm gonna add another key, and unfortunately I need to do this kind of manually. So I guess we'll do G. And I will make a G here. G. 4. And I guess we can just in the same. Oh no, this is different. G, I want it to act like the sign, so let the sign equal this. And let cosine equal basically the same thing, but math cosine. And then this would be sine plus cosine. So, oh, that's supposed to be G. It's the opposite, I guess. I'll probably need to shift it by some small amount. I forgot my trigonometry. Nice. Kind of want this to be a different ease, I think, the color. So, where's the color? Ease 3. Let's try ease 1. It's kind of short. Let's try ease 2. It's like the sign. I wonder if we try different ease for cosine than we do for sine. Nice. All right, well, we've done quite a bit here. Now we get to play with it in the next video. All right, until then.